Agboato, long life. Ekabo, welcome. Odoo play Eacon. We thank the ancestors for their wisdom. Today we're going to do a demonstration of the methodology for opening the oracle using the Ikin, and also an explanation of some of the hand gestures. In Ifa, we use there's systems of 1 calorie, 2, 4. Then there's Obiabata, which makes the use of 9 different patterns. And then we have Merindin Lagoon, which is 16 calories, and Plele and Eacon. Each one of those systems is interrelated and interconnected based on the same fundamental principles, metaphysical principles of Odoo. And there's a certain hierarchy, so that when you divine with the Eacon, it's considered the matter is closed. I mean, you can have different answers on some of the other systems from different people, and if there's a dispute over divination, then it's taken to the Eacon, and what the Eacon says is definitive. So let's start with just the general symbolism of the tray itself. There is a face on top of the tray that is frequently described as Eshu. In fact, it's Olu. Olu is a synonym for God, so this is the creator. At the top of the tray is not the north, as some books suggest. The top of the tray is east. There's an Odoo that says whenever an Awo is sitting behind the tray, he's always facing the east being the symbolic place where creation emerged for the first time in the beginning of time. Okay, so the circle represents all of reality. All right, so the Eacon, from the point of view of quantum physics, photons, which is the smallest unit of quanta or measure in creation, is made up of 4 sets of what are called buons, and each of those have 4 elements. So the 16 Eacon represent the smallest known informational packet of physical reality that go towards making really eventually towards a photon, which then becomes an element of an atom, and elements become the basis of the total creation. So we're dealing with really cosmic symbols here. The tray can be, depending on how the diviner is looking at it and reading the Odoo, it can be the universe, it can be the solar system, it can be the human aura, it can be the human ori, which is different than the aura. The aura is the whole body, ori is just the head. And then it's broken up into quadrants. The right side, present, left side, the becoming or the future. Top is spiritual matters, bottom is practical matters. And the tapper has the same symbolism. The tapper represents fertility, or the penis and the vagina. That's the symbolism we're using here. Giving birth to the seeds, which then give birth to the structure in the universe. The penis and vagina symbolism is repeated here in the little clapper inside the circle of the Iroke. And what we have is a female carved into the phallic symbol, representing yin-yang balance. All right, so in Ifa, when the Awos go into possession with Elah, if a person starts going to possession, they'll say Hepwa Baba, and the other Awos will bring the clacker in acknowledgement of spirit entering the room. So essentially, the Eacon represent the seeds of the fruit of the tree of life. If that makes sense. We have an issue here. We'll put that there for now. And so before the first moment of creation, these seeds exist in the mind of Olorun, in the invisible realm of Odoo. All right. So we symbolize that moment before creation by covering the bowl with both hands. So this is the darkness coming into light, right? That's the gesture. So we cover it with both hands and we say, Arumi ala ogbo, Arumi la iwo wo, Ahuna wo, yeah wo, Emi, and Kanchocho Lokberry, Akifa Akbar, Mrendin Logon, Sile Kashina Ler, Nipim Fona Han, so we're essentially asking all the mysteries of creation to come and present themselves at this place on the mat. We're asking for the mystery of abundance to come. We're asking for our spirit to manifest through the heart. In traditional Yoruba culture, when an elder says think, they don't point to their head, they point to their heart. Recently, science has determined there are brain cells in the heart, so that's an interesting confirmation of that particular thought. Then we're saying, Kifa Akba Marindi Logun Sile Ka Shina. We're asking for the 16 invisible principles of creating the world to reveal themselves. Learn Eacon, witness to creation through the use of psychic vision, implying that we're in an altered state of consciousness. So this is the opening gesture, right? And from here, we're asking Orunmila to be the avatar for Elah. Orunmila is the ancestral spirit of the prophet Orunmila who taught us how to connect to Elah. So Orunmila is not, it's not an Orisha, and it's technically not an Egun. Egun is a collective spirit of particular lineage. Orunmila would be what is known as Ar Orun, or a body, a single person in heaven, the personality of Orunmila. And we're invoking Orunmila because it's easier to access an ancestral spirit than it is an Orisha, easier to access an ancestral spirit than it is to access the spirit of Elah. But if we make a connection with the ancestor who has that connection to Orisha, then we're getting both. That's what makes that invocation function as an avatar. It's a avatar means one who guides us to a thing, opens the way or opens the door. So Orunmila becomes an avatar for Elah. So we invoke Orunmila by saying, Orunmila learn even ibikiji odumreade juogun. Abriti apiju ikuda luami amor motana como tanko she abamo tani basheke oluami olua iri omo lesni leo yin omo lope kanto son on dugi dugi oluami apoki amuida soju ikan ko jeke hun hora sakasaka Akun omo osho jini tapati nuwu nini omo osho pade mawo pade mashe imperi epa oje oluwami igbo omo ian birikiti inu odo omo igbati so jai jai Iko dudu et ewo oro ejepo mopon agiri lei logbon abala wodu eri moron Oluwami a Tori Bajaye or a Biku Jigbo, Oluwami a Jiki Elgegi Aglaye Gon Oduduti Idu Ori Emere, Otun Ori Tikon Son Wonshe Omo Ejo Tinarin Marin Lore Ewe Omo Rintirin Ode Sakasaka. Rumila Morin Buru, Rumila Mamboy, Rumila Morin Boshishe. Oh. So now we've established our preliminary link to Elah via the ancestral spirit of Rumila. And in that moment, we praise the elders who taught us how to make that connection. Iba Oluwo, Iba Juboni, Iba Kode, Iba Shede, Iba Eraba, Egbi Fa Gontel de Remo. Iba baba iba ye iba ye iba baba iba ye ajubo Ajuba Eacon Kode Eacon Kuo. Ashe. So now what we're doing is, in a sense, we're establishing our credibility or status really as diviners. Nobody in traditional Yoruba culture would pretend to divine with Eacon without sanction from the community. And so in this next section, I'm showing you that I have that sanction by virtue of the fact that I have the Eacon, right? And I'm showing that the Eacon are the tool through which the solution to a problem is revealed, right? And so I'm taking the Eacon out of the bowl and placing him in my left hand, but after identifying it. So the left hand is the hand for secret or mystery, right? When we go to the left, we're going to the place of invisible, the place that's not yet manifest, the place that we can't see with certainty. Okay, left, right. So we're going Iba, Ije Ogbe, Iba Oyeku Meji, Iba Iwari Meji, Iba Odi Meji, Iba Erosion Meji, Iba Okanron Meji, Iba Obara Meji, Iba Okanron Meji, Iba Ogunda Meji, Iba Osa Meji, Iba Ika Meji, Iba Baba Meji, Iba Otura Meji, sorry, Iba Irite Meji, Iba Oshe Meji, Iba Ofun Meji, Ashe. So now I'm going to put these behind my back. And I'm going to say Arun OC, which is 5 to the left. Now, Arun Ora, that's 5 to the right. Eta Eguntam, it's 3 on the top. And EJ Ireye, it's 2 on the bottom. And then in TTO Bafin, Idan, 1 in the center. All right. So that represents the symbolic unfolding of the, really, I believe, the subatomic particles of creation. Probably a mystery that science is not yet able to connect to completely. So now we can put these back in the bowl. So now we're going to praise the Divination Center. We do that by tapping the set. So kosi awoni le orokan shokosi agba ifaji orumila biolo loko kiyo waleo. Okay, now we're going to mimic the first moment of creation. And then Ifad's taboo to touch the tray with this finger. Okay, so whenever we're doing work, we're keeping this finger separate from the rest of our fingers. This finger, you know what this finger is for, right? When your mama told you not to point, that's what this finger is for, all right? So we're going to take this finger and we're going to mark from the center of the tray to the top of the tray, meaning the focal point of Oyigi Yigi, the first expression of matter in creation. We're going to go from there to the east, right? Ma lo lo no fun toro toro ki olela ono fun me. Excuse me. Toro toro ki ole ki jeki omo ti ona yiwa so do me ki ole jeki owo ti ona yiwa so do me. And now what we're doing is we're taking the feather representing primal kundalini energy from the root chakra up to the head, and we're using it to erase that line, showing how that moment of creation becomes quantumly entangled with all of creation. All right. And we're going to take a pinch of this erosin and put it on the floor outside of the mat. This representing the spread of what's called Odoo, or the fundamental ashe of creation, known as ether in certain forms of Western physics. All right. Moshe ile baye. We're going to stir that. We're going to use that to then manifest whatever it is we're looking to fix. Moshe opon baye. Ogunshe biokoko. Ogiri igiashe agunshe ogunshe biagbeji amashe ogunshe bioluko amashe ogunshe agunshe iba. Then you name your own Orisha at this point. For me, Iba Orisha Ogun. Obaye ati obarun iba ino. Rumia moyen buru, rumia moyen boye, rumila moyen boshisheo. So we know buru boye aboshishe. When you put moyen in front of that phrase, it's saying, I'm begging for the elevation of my problem. It's not just I'm asking, I'm begging, right? And usually that gets very dramatic and passionate. All right, so now I'm clapping 3 times, and what I'm doing now is announcing that I'm ready to begin the actual process of divination. All right, so I'm going to connect with the Eacon by saying Iba Ije Ogbe Moko Kyoto. Moko Kyoto means I'm naming the Odoo. Moko I study. Kyo Moko Kyoto. Studying this Odoo is sufficient for understanding. Okay, so Iba Oyeku Meji Mokoki Oto, Iba Iwori Meji Mokoki Oto, Iba Odi Meji Mokoki Oto, Iba Erosin Meji Mokoki Oto, Iba Owanra Meji Mokoki Oto, Iba Obara Meji Mokoki Oto, Iba Okanra Meji Mokoki Oto, Iba Ogunda Meji Mokoki Oto, Iba Osameji Mokoki Oto, Iba Ikameji Mokoki Oto, Iba Baba Meji Mokoki Oto. That last Odoo, we don't say the name of it on the mat, so we don't inadvertently invoke illness. Iba Otura Meji Mokoki Oto, Iba Irite Meji Mokoki Oto, Iba Oshe Meji Oto, Iba. And then the last one is the oldest, not the youngest. And so it's the most senior. The oldest, yeah. So we say Hekwa Baba Ofun Meji Mokoki Oto. And then we say Iba Oshe Torah Mokoki Oto. That's the Odoo that invokes Eshu Odara. So we place that on the image of Olu. Now, when you're doing that, you want to make sure they fit easily in your hands. Divination practice to take some of the Eacon out and place them on the tray. To make sure that you can easily manipulate them, all right? So now we're going to invoke it by singing a song, which is call and response. Iba ijiogbe aburu boy akalao. Hey akala, hey akalao. Then the song stops, and I'm going to slap the Eacon. If it falls out, then you do it again, right? Okay, so 3 doesn't mean anything. Okay, so when there's two Eacon left in the hand, you mark 1 mark on the tray. Okay, the sequence of the marks is always 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I had 2 left in my hand. I'm going to make 1 mark here. Okay, Ibao Yeko Meji Aburu Boy Akalao. Hey Akala. Hey Akalao. Two again. So Iba Iwo Meji Aburu Boy Akalao. Hey Akala. Hey Akalao. Ibao di Meji Aburu Boy Akalao. Hey Akala. Hey Akalao. Iba Irosu Meji Aburu Boy Akalao. Hey Akala. Hey Akalao. Iba Warren Meji Aburu Boy Akalao. Hey Akala. Hey Akalao. Iba Obara Meji Aburu Boy Akalao. Hey Akalao. Hey Akalao. All right. Iba Okana Meji Aburu Boy Akalao. Hey Akalao. Hey Akalao. All right. Oh, one more time. Are you ready? Yeah. Good. All right. So, okay, here's another important rule when doing divination. The person who's marking the Odoo, calls the Odoo. You may recognize it, know what it is, but the rule is the person doing the divination can choose not to accept that Odoo. Unless someone else calls it, then they've invoked it to land on the mat and you got to deal with it. So if you're in Africa and an elder is divining and you call the Odoo, people will be very unhappy. So try and avoid that mistake. For reasons and go on a different time is sometimes necessary and productive to change the Odoo because we want to invoke the best possible solution, obviously. So just to be brief, and we're going to wrap this up now. E.G. Ogbe says you're doing the right thing at the right time with the right people, with the right reasons to accomplish the right goal in the right way to connect with your highest destiny, right?
Is that Yobi?
Yeah. Can you turn this off?
Is that Yobi? She has obeyed everything.
Yeah, okay. It's E.J. Ogbe.
Is it Yobi?
He says E.J. Ogbe. That's what it is.
He called it.
That's what
Can we turn off the Baba, will you turn off the
We just close it?
No, press the bottom finger. Thank you. Okay, now you need to press it one more time.
Hmm?
One more.